Everyone, Kim here with Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We are doing a Mystery Mystic Musings, and we are doing a part 3 to Debbie Collier's reading. And if you haven't already done so, check out part 1, that's the opening oracle reading that I did. Part 2 is a detailed tarot and oracle reading that asks specific questions about what may have happened to her. And now this part, it's just addressing her relationship with her husband. I know that people have some suspicions around him. Some people are questioning his alibi. Some people are questioning, is there a financial motive? Or did perhaps he frame her daughter? All of these things are kind of swirling around. So we're going to do a little tarot reading to see what comes up surrounding Debbie and Steve's relationship. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we are tapping into the energies here. Money may be involved. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That is like money involved. It could be a motive. We've got money may be involved. Details leading up to the murder may be worth investigating. And the perpetrator sustained a wound during the murder. So, and I remember in one of the parts I did for Debbie's reading is that she may not have known her actual assailant. So this could be that whoever did this, they may have either been disguised, so that's why she didn't know. Look, premeditated killer planned out the details in advance. So I'm just pulling these out because I'm trying to, with the process of either including or excluding Steve, her husband. And then we'll move on to the tarot reading, okay? So we're just tapping into the energies here with this deck. A witness may not be fully disclosing all the facts. So could that be Steve? Could that be his stepdaughter? It could be allegedly. That could be the case. Take a closer look at one of the suspects. And then multiple people were involved in the crime. Okay, multiple people were involved in this crime that happened to Debbie. And so, and I sense that he may very well be knowing that. So that could be the case. Okay. The perpetrator worked in the area. And I also recall there was a card that the person lived near where it happened. Oh my goodness. I'm going to pull one more card, and then we're going to take a picture of this and move on to the tarot questions I have. Oh, this is upsetting. This case will remain unsolved until key evidence is discovered. Now, this doesn't mean that it's going to go unsolved forever. That doesn't mean that. It just means that a critical piece of key evidence is going to have to link all of these players together, and it's going to require law enforcement having to understand how is money tied into all of this. This was premeditated. A witness is not disclosing all of the facts here. Law enforcement is taking a closer look at one of the suspects. The person who carried out the actual harm to Debbie sustained a wound that could be a burn or some sort of wound, in the course of attacking her and hurting her. But what stands out to me is money may be involved. Details leading up to this may be worth investigating. The moments, the days, the months, the time leading up to. And take a closer look. And multiple people were involved. Multiple people were involved. So just bear that in mind. And what I may do, I haven't decided yet, is either a part 4 or at the end of this reading that I'm about to do, the Tarot and Oracle reading, is take a look again at the cards that came in the previous readings to see if perhaps maybe that's what had been told all along. And yeah, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the Tarot reading. I'll take a picture, a still shot of these cards. Okay, so now we're going to ask some questions. What is the nature of Debbie and Steve's relationship and marriage? We have the Queen of Swords, the King of Coins, okay, what is the nature of their marriage, Spirit, Debbie and Steve? Six of Cups. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, and I'm going to pull from a couple of different oracles here. What's the nature of their marriage? How was it? The days, weeks, and months leading up to the relation, like to what happened to Debbie, I should say. Time for a heart-to-heart. Okay, I'm going to pull from a few decks. Pressure cooker. Okay. Okay. Grateful, appreciation, grateful for meeting you. So overall, their relationship was, it seems, very much based on love here. We see that with the Six of Cups. Okay, they've been together a long time. They have a history together. And we see here grateful, thank you, appreciation, grateful for meeting you. That's the overall sense that I feel that Debbie had towards Steve and Steve had towards Debbie. He was a provider, it seems. He is the provider of this family with the King of Coins. He has a lot on his plate to manage and to take care of and to provide for. And so it caused a lot of pressure. Money was at issue here for him and for this relationship. We have pressure cooker, ready to explode, rage. I feel like this was a combustible situation, and it's sitting underneath King of Coins. Let me zoom in here. It's sitting underneath King of Coins, so this is telling me that he was feeling a lot of pressure financially, whether it's from Debbie or whether it's from her kid or whether it's from just life in general. There's a lot of pressure going on. Queen of Swords. This could represent them having to have difficult conversations, but nevertheless conversations. I mean, this is a relationship that's not necessarily built on romance, okay? This is more like we are a team, we're a unit, we're in this together. She's the Queen of Swords, he's the King of Coins. There, in the past months, probably 11 months preceding back, there was a heart-to-heart that happened between the both of them about trying to get on the same page about this relationship, about the pressures he was feeling, a promise that had been made, I'm sensing, in this relationship. A promise that had been made back about last winter. Why? Because somebody was done. It says completion, lesson learned. Someone was starting to be done with the pressure. It could be very well Steve being done with the pressures and the weight of, the financial responsibility that he was carrying. So that's what I'm picking up on here. He was done. Like, not so much done with her, because again, we've got grateful, appreciation, grateful for meeting you. But then we also have this sense of him being done about something. What was he done? What was he over? Because there's love here, Six of Cups, but the pressure of his financial weight of the crown he has to wear was starting to weigh heavily on his head, is what I'm picking up on here. I wonder what that's about. All right, so next up, How did Steve, and let me zoom out so you guys can see the table. How did Steve feel about his stepdaughter? I'm not going to really try to mention her name at this point. So this kind of came out sideways. It was like 10 of Wands. This is a burden. This is a burdensome load that he's at the end of the road trying to carry, and he's not very good at carrying it all. He's been carrying it, weighed it down. This is the Emperor, the father, having to carry this weight, knowing that he was responsible for carrying this weight. That's what I'm picking up on here. How did he feel about Andrew? Oh, a mess of cards. I'm not going to read all of them. But let's just see. How did he feel about his stepdaughter's boyfriend? How do you feel about the stepdaughter's boyfriend? Reverse. Strength. He felt like he was weak. Not a man that is standing up doing what he needs to do. There's some element of somebody either feeling weak against. So it could be that Steve feels weak against this boyfriend. Or it could mean that he looks at the boyfriend as weak. But I don't know. I find that interesting. Maybe it's more so that he feels weak against them. But nevertheless, the Emperor is tied to being a father figure, trying to be a father figure, trying to rule over the household, rule over a situation, and feeling unsuccessful in doing so, feeling weak and unable to do so. There was a heavy burden to bear with this relationship, keeping tabs. How does he feel about his relationship? Oh, that's interesting. How does he feel about his relationship with his stepdaughter? Oh, well, it's coming through, but I want just one more card, if possible. Resentful, out of sight, out of mind. That's how he liked it best, I sense. And selfish. Either he sees her as selfish or he's feeling selfish about the situation. Like a fake persona, having to put on airs, having to put on, a fake profile, a fake way of being, keeping tabs on you. This is, again, him maybe perhaps keeping tabs on her and what she's up to, constantly always having the burden of keeping tabs with what she's been up to. Okay. And resentful for being in this position. Oh my goodness, I cannot shuffle tonight just because I've been shuffling all day doing client readings. So now I'm like, okay. Anything else, Spirit, about how is he feeling about the stepdaughter? Lockbox, closed in, trapped, and frustrated. He's frustrated. He is frustrated. Okay? That's what I'm picking up on here. He's frustrated with her, frustrated with the situation, tired of, he's at the end of his rope, and now he knows, like, at the 10 part, when you're at the end of the row on the 10 of Wands moment, you're about to drop all of those and just be done and walk away. This is now kind of an out for him in a way of having to really carry this burden of her anymore. I think he's literally, you know how like when you're at the finish line, you could barely move forward. That's where he's at. Okay. Now we're going to ask, did he have anything to do with Debbie's passing? What happened to Debbie? Did Steve have anything to do with her passing? We have the High Priestess. 8 of Wands. Ace of Swords. And I'm going to pull. Did he have anything to do with her passing? Or does he know anything about what may have happened? I want one card, please, Spirit. Steve. And Debbie. So reverse 8 of Wands here. Delays, frustration, lots of frustration, panic, waiting, holding off. A High Priestess, a female energy being involved. He is aware, he's knowledgeable about something. He is knowledgeable about something. So there's that. what people are intuitively picking up on about him is that he does know more than what he has already like maybe conveyed to when he was reporting Debbie missing, or when he was talking to police, or I don't even think he's done any interviews. But there's a lot in this book that he knows and is aware of. You see all these little birds here, 8 of Wands. Lots of things happening 8 weeks back. Lots of words, exchanges of fiery energy coming at him, coming at Debbie. So he's aware of some things that were unfolding. Ace of Swords is about a clarion call, knowing, having a new thought within a month's time. I wonder if there's been threats. Not saying he did any threats to Debbie, or if threats were coming to him, or him exerting threats to others. Delaying something that was a plan in action. I don't know. Did he have anything to do with this, Spirit? Today for tomorrow. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more knowledge there than what we're getting. That's what I'm picking up on. I'm not sure his full level of involvement. Child, I still feel like somebody carried out this task on someone else's behalf, and he has an idea who that may be. That's what I'm picking up on. It's not still just feminine energy. Doesn't necessarily mean it's his daughter. I know we all have been thinking that. Look, guilty, regret, and reflecting. Now, some people would take this as guilty. He may be guilty of either knowing something. We see that with the reflecting card. The Ace of Swords is about a knowing, a new knowing of something within a month's time. But we have regret. Regret could just simply mean I feel guilty because I didn't do anything. I knew some things were cooking up. I heard of things. Some people even mentioned some things to me. I got news 8 weeks back about something percolating. That's why I have guilt. Or the guilt is just simply I should have done more than what I did. And instead I acted like a lame horse. And so that could be what this eight of Wands in reverse is saying. We got 8 of Wands upright here, plans happening like 8 weeks prior. And then when the going got rough, he didn't do much of anything. Today for tomorrow is also signifying a sacrifice. And today for tomorrow, I'm not quite sure of what else it could mean. Sacrificing somebody or something today for a better tomorrow. Child, some level of child involvement. Doing this for the sake of a child, or a child is involved. Okay, actually I'm going to move these over here. I'm going to move these over here so I have room. Yeah, there's some level of knowing, and I don't, again, this is allegedly. We have mental health. His mental health has been affected deeply before and now. Yeah, we have that, and there's signs. People are starting to pick up on this signs surrounding this case of perhaps, maybe he knows more than what he has let on of knowing, because the 8 of Wands is about news. Knowing something. Reversed 8 of Wands came up with this deck. There's 2 decks, 2 tarot decks I'm working with here. 2 of them. And we got 2 8 of Wands. Okay, so next question. So he claims that he was at, it's all messy. That he was at work and maybe commuting home at the time, all this was taking place. And then I guess, and I could have my times off. He gets home, he sees that Debbie is not home. He just assumes she's doing her normal Saturday shopping. But then I'm not quite sure of how he then knows. I think that maybe his stepdaughter comes by and says she ain't heard from her mom, and So then they call the authorities. So in terms of not what he said he was at, but where actually, Spirit, was he at the time that Debbie was being attacked? King of Swords. I mean, this is the truth teller in the sense that he was telling the truth. He was at work, and I don't know. We would have to look at the time of his commute. There's so many different factors that I'm sure law enforcement is looking at in terms of where he may have been at. But the King of Swords is a truth teller, and it doesn't imply that he was maybe at some place of employment. I don't know if he's some sort of supervisory role there. I don't know what kind of work he does. Children keeps coming up. I wonder why. Maybe he works with children. Cleansing, clearing space, trying to remember. It sounds like to me his happy space was being at work, to be honest. So I don't think it would be hard for law enforcement to verify the points. Now, if there's like a small gap in time of where he may have been, or maybe there's not a gap, that doesn't mean that he wouldn't have any involvement in what happened to her. But because that could mean somebody else had something to do with it, but he's still in full knowledge and aware. Children, I don't know. Dealing with someone young-minded. This could be just dealing with his occupation. I'm not sure, to be honest. I sense that the King of Swords is saying he is telling the truth with that. So if he says he was at work or commuting home, and then when he got home, he's, hearing, oh, this has happened to Debbie. And so all of that that's the truth. Okay, medium hair color. I don't know, he's got white hair. I don't know if that's going to tell us anything else. Look what flipped out on the top. Children. I don't know. Like I said, when you see the King of Swords in the upright position, it means that what he is saying, for the most part, is the truth. Okay? I don't know if there's anything else to shuffle. Let me just do this. Was he telling the truth about where he was at during the time that that Debbie was likely hurt? Six of Cups. Does appear yes. It'll be interesting to see what comes of that. So he may be telling the truth. But that maybe he's more knowledgeable about who may be involved. And there's some guilt surrounding just even being in the know about that. I don't know. Because if he did this, I wonder what would be the motive, but we talked about motive. There's a money motivation here. There was a revenge level. And let me pull from Spirit, is there anything else you can tell us about motive? Not saying Steve did anything, but just motive. Motive for who did this to Debbie, because that also can give clues as to whether or not he's involved. Let me reshuffle. Yeah, I'm just not, I don't know. I'm going to keep an open mind, though. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I do now. So, any motive, any card to signify motive. I won't cry for you. Somebody who should be remorseful, but isn't. I won't cry for you. Is there someone in Debbie's circle that is not remorseful? This is speaking to, I'm feeling alone in the world. She left me alone in the world, or she needs to be alone in the world. So that's what I was speaking to about that vengeance, the revenge. But there's the just the part that the oracle part we did before, it speaks to a money element tied to this. It's twofold to what drove the motive. Eliminating her for two reasons is tied to money and tied to some level of vengeance. She needed to be alone, die alone like this person felt, which is really awful. Fated to suffer. They wanted her to suffer. Not just the money element, but this whole motive is, so I think it's also horrifying for perhaps Steve. This is just now, I mean, I would be curious to see what his reaction has been to like these last several days. Not that we are privy to know that, but like it's horrific what happened to Debbie. So there's that. And this does speak to, does he know who did this? But I'll ask, does he have an idea or know who did this? Hold on. Does he know who happened to do this or did this? Does he have an idea? Does he have an idea of who did this? Does Steve have an idea who did this to his wife? It's murky to him. Somebody wanted to walk away. He knows that. He even wanted to walk away. That could be also why he's feeling immense guilt about this whole situation. But there's something that he knows. There's secrets here. There's illusions here. He has an idea, perhaps, how things were going to unfold, but he doesn't know who actually did what. And I think that I don't know. I think that it's kind of like, let me show you. It says no and no to the question of does he know who did this? And this also helps us to understand, was he involved? Is the other question. And we did talk about, he may have some knowledge of what was impending. He may have heard things. His level of involvement, I don't know. I'm still getting a no. But again, I know people are equally saying that it's the step or the daughter of Debbie's, and then there's people saying that it's him. And I really don't know. But I do know that it's someone close to her. I know that. It's someone close to her. We know that. Police have already indicated that, but the cards also point to this happened in-house, in the family, in the home. We saw that in the last reading. So, I think there's a level of him just being the emperor, the kings showing up here, that you knew whispers were being made, some level of involvement. He was also doing the Venmo, or his account or his name is on the Venmo with Debbie's, or they share the bank account. So large transactions, I'm sure, would not be something that he would miss. So he knew what was going on. Did he like what was going on? I'm getting an impression no. But on the other hand, he was fed up. One way or the other, this situation was coming to an end. Did he expect Debbie to suffer, fated to suffer the way she did? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. What do the police think about? What do the police think about? Hold on, I want to use this tarot deck. What do the police think about Steve and Steve's level of involvement? Right now, we've got the Queen of Cups. I'm not getting with the Queen of Cups that they're really focusing on him. Okay. I'm going to pull from a deck. What are they territorial? They are looking at him. This would indicate, are police looking at Steve? I mean, they're looking at everybody, is what I'm getting a sense of with the Strength and King of Wands. This is like everybody's being looked at, including Steve. I think that in terms of how they look at him and whether or not he's like someone capable of doing this, I think that they've seen evidence that there's love there between Debbie and him with this Queen of Cups. There's no indication at this point that their relationship was, you know, any different than other long-standing couples relationships. Like some people were questioning why would they sleep in separate bedrooms. I know many of my friends and we all kind of at times sleep at different bedrooms because, like for me, I keep late hours and my husband goes to sleep early. Now, there are nights we sleep together and there's nights where I'm not going to sleep there. And we're completely okay with that. So that in and of itself doesn't mean that there's no love there. Is he at the end of his rope about certain things with that pressure cooker card? Yes, but that's not going to be something that stands out to law enforcement. We have Knight of Coins. Again, that trustworthy energy, that's what I'm picking up on. So yeah, they're looking at him with the Strength card for sure. The King of Wands, yes. Mismanagement of life is what stands out here. They feel like what happened to Steve in this situation was that things kind of fell apart in his family life. Somebody is territorial. Could it be that someone territorial over things that belong to him? And they're taking a look at that and how he would feel about his territory being encroached upon, perhaps. They're looking at that. So I would say law enforcement is definitely looking, but I don't know if they're feeling a certain kind of way like, oh yeah, he for sure did it. So there's going to be some key evidence that comes up. I'm going to reshuffle. That comes up that tips law enforcement to one direction versus the other. Lovers. This card came up before. Is there a lover's situation here? Perhaps. Perhaps. The lovers came up in the last reading we did. And fire. I know that they did try to burn poor Debbie. They did, whoever this was. So they're looking, law enforcement is like looking at the lovers aspect of Steve, the relationship dynamics at this time. They've been looking at it, and they're looking at another close relationship near Steve, maybe not involving him, but they're looking at that as well, and looking at all of the details. So you can trust and believe every aspect of this case now that FBI is assisting is being combed over, looked at, and I do sense that answers will come. But yeah, this is just tragic. This is the connection that we're picking up with the relationship between Debbie and Steve. And Steve and his stepdaughter and just what's going on here. I'm curious to hear what you all think. I think I'm going to save the part where I'm just kind of analyzing the different pictures from the different still shots of the readings for just its own separate standalone part 4. And I won't do that right away. I'm going to kind of let some time pass now to see how everything kind of unfolds. And then we can kind of point out the different cards and say, this is how they played out. This is what came up. This is how these really connect. These dots really connect over here. This connects over there, because that's where the learning happens, right? When we're able to go back and reflect on how it all played out. But I just think it may be a little too soon at this point to be going and connecting the dots when everything is still just like unfolding. So we just need to allow and wait for it to unfold. At which time, if I do a future reading, maybe we would do a quick update with the part 4 where I'm looking at all the different cards that have come up in the past. We'll look at what's next, like what's next now that the investigation has been underway. So we'll do that in the future, I'm sure. But yeah, that's where we're going to get off here. This video is long enough. That's what I'm picking up here surrounding Debbie and Steve. Let me know what you all think about this situation. This is super tragic. Beyond. My heart goes out to Debbie and her loved ones who are dealing with this, grieving over her passing, her tragic and horrific passing. And we pray for justice over here, for it to prevail swiftly, or at least in how fast the divine spirit wants it to happen, of course. But we pray for it nevertheless. Do me a favor, please, hit the like button on your way out. And please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And yeah, this one makes me sad. Really does. Bye for now.